today's video is actually going to be a story time, and this one is crazy. It actually happened to me over Christmas break, and I don't even know why they are still open to this day. Every time I hear anyone going there, I'm always warning them not to go there and giving them my reason as to why not to. But hey, it's up to them if they want to waste their money or not. But I figured I would share with you guys my experience with an escape room. So I don't know if you guys have ever been to escape room or not, but it's basically a place where they have certain rooms and each room has a theme. So you can have a room where it's like a hospital room, and when you walk in, it'll literally look like you went to a hospital. Each of the rooms are a theme. Once you go inside of the room, you are basically locked in for an entire hour, and your job is to escape or escape before the timer goes off. I have seen a lot of reality shows where they do different themes, and most of them look so amazing, where if you're stepping inside of that room, it literally looks like you're going into the theme of whatever that room is, and the room has just taken on exactly what its theme is. So the cool thing about it is you're actually locked in, you have to do the detective work, and you have to try to beat the time, in other words. And to me, it's a lot of fun, or it seems like a lot of fun, and I'm into like that detective type of stuff. So I love challenging different challenging games like that. So I was excited to actually go to this escape room. The reason why we did end up going was because it was over Christmas break and my husband's family had actually came up. So we had heard about the escape room and my husband was like, well, why don't we go there? It kind of opened up. It was, I want to say like 2 months it had been open before we had decided to go. And he was like, it seems like it'll be a lot of fun. It was pretty expensive though, because it was $20 for each person. And there was 6 of us all together. So for an hour, it would have been $120, which is pretty pricey, but hey, I mean, you only do an escape room once in a while, so we were pretty sure that we wanted to do it. So before we actually went there, we ended up going on their website, and then they didn't even have a website, they had like a Facebook, so we went on their Facebook website to see the different rooms that they had. So the 4 different rooms that I do remember, there was one that was a hospital room, then they had a space room, then they also had the Christmas room, and then they had a prison room. I'm sure they had a couple more others, but I'm not pretty sure what the names were. So we ended up looking them up and trying to figure out like what level was the hardest, because that's the exact one that we wanted. We wanted something challenging since there was 6 of us, and we figured it would be easier to like get through if it's an easy one and there's 6 of us. So we figured out we had actually wanted the hospital room, and we had ended up calling and they had said every single room was booked except for the Christmas room. And we had asked them, we were like, well, is it challenging? And the guy was like, no, it really depends on you. And so we were like, we're not sure if we want to do it. We'll call you back. So we had hung up and we were talking about it for a while, and then we're like, well, let's just go anyways. And so we called back again, and we got a woman this time. So we had asked her, we were like, how is the Christmas room? Is it challenging? And she was like, yeah, that's actually our hardest room. And we were like, are you sure? Because we had just called back and the guy didn't seem really convinced that it was the hardest room at all. In fact, he had said it just really depends on you. And she's like, yeah, I think it is the hardest. I mean, it could depend on you. And she started going back off of what she had said. And so we were just like, you know what, forget it. We're going to book it and we'll see you in a few minutes. And so she was like, okay. So we kind of were a little like, maybe we shouldn't go now, because it just seems so, I don't know, it just seems so off when we called. But we were like, there's nothing, I don't know if you know Delaware, but in Dover, there's nothing to do, especially on a weekday. And it was just Christmas on top of it, so it's cold outside. There was just nothing to do. So we put it into our GPS, and it took us to downtown Dover. Now, there really isn't much in downtown Dover, but they took us by like the railroad tracks, and then the GPS stopped, and it said that we reached our destination. And we're looking around like, we don't see anything around here. Like, there's old factory buildings in the back, like past the railroad tracks. And after a while, we kept circling and circling. And then after a while, we were like, well, let's just go down this little road. Maybe it's back there, which didn't sound like a good idea, but we decided to do it anyway. So we went down this long road, and mind you, it's like 8, 9 o'clock at night, or it could have been it actually could have been 7 or 6, because it got dark early, so it may not have been that late. But anyways, we went down the road, and at the road, it was no cars but one inside of that parking lot, and we're like, this is weird. But there was one little light over a door, and in the front of the door it had like I don't know, it was like this little tiny sign that said escape room. So it looks scary. It looks not even scary, it looks sketchy. Let's just put it that way. And then on the front of the glass door, it was like this big crack all the way from the top to the bottom. So we're like, if this does not look weird, it looked like, okay, I don't know if you've seen like warehouses where they have like trucks parked and stuff like that, but it looked like a big empty warehouse. So we went inside, and as soon as you walk in, there is this desk. And the lady was standing there, and she was just like, okay, so before you go in, you have to sign a waiver, and then after you sign the waiver, you know, basically you have to pay them. And we were like, well, could we at least look inside of the room to see if we want to do it? And she was like, no, you're not allowed to look inside in any of the rooms until you pay. So we ended up all paying, and after we all paid, we went inside of this it was this huge room, but it was empty, and it had like this white couch on it and a random like Xbox, and it was like while you wait you can play it, and we're like, oh. The funny thing about it is the room was like all white, so everything's white, well, except the carpet. I think the carpet was like black, but everything else was white. And we were like, boy, this already looks like the space room. Is this supposed to be like, we're joking around like, oh, is this supposed to be the space room? But it did not look like they had put any type of effort into interior decorating the place at all. Like, it looked like they just slapped in a chair, slapped in an Xbox, and were like, sit if you want to. In fact, the sign was actually like a paper sign, like something they printed out basically. It wasn't like something that you took their time to actually put next to Xbox with like a little picture frame and it saying, you know, you may play. No, it was just like taped to the wall saying, hey, if you want, you can play it. So we stayed there for about 4 to 5 minutes. Not 45, 4 to 5 minutes, and they came back. There was this guy, and he came back with all these keys on this kind of big hanger thingy. Like, I guess they were trying to make it look scary. And so he was like, oh, if you want, you can come back with me. I'm going to walk you to the Christmas room, because that's the one we had decided to do. So when we had first walked in, there's the desk. We went to the right to actually sit down and wait, and if you walk back into the room where they signed you in, past that to the other side, there's another section here. And this is a big, huge, empty hallway type of room. And in this room, there's 4 different doors. And inside of the doors, I guess they were escape room doors. So he walked us up to the door of the Christmas room, and before he let us in, he was like, are you guys sure you want to enter? And we're like, yeah. And so he opened the door, and we all walked in, and then he closed it behind us. And so we are all standing inside this room, and I'm going to explain it to you the best way that I can. When you first walk in, to your left, there was a sofa, and I don't even want to say like a regular sofa. It was like a futon, like one of those college dorm futons. Then over on the wall, all the way straight ahead, was a TV, and the TV had the timer clicking off. And in front of us was one of those little card tables, like those plastic foldable card tables, with a lockbox on top of it. Then they also had kind of like a coloring sheet, and it looked like a sheet, like a map of Africa inside of it. But it was just like a map of Africa, coloring sheet, nothing on it, no crayons. There was a notebook pad with a pen. And then hanging from the walls, this is the Christmas theme they wanted to give us. Hanging from the walls, it literally looked like I went to Wrap It Present, I pulled out the roll, cut the wrapping paper, stuck the wrapping paper to the wall. Now, I don't know about you, but I've never seen anyone ever decorate for Christmas with wrapping paper on the wall. Just a big square wrapping paper on the wall. Then, hanging from the ceiling were those little spiral, like, you know those birthday things, but at the end was like a snowflake. So you had 6 little spiral things hanging from the wall, from the ceiling. And then on the back of the snowflake, there was a number. And then, I'm not even lying about all this. To the right, there was a big, like, chest, and it had a lock on it, so you couldn't open the top, and then they had 2 double drawers at the bottom. Then behind us, when we first walk in, this is the wall that you know, where you're walking in against, they had a hamper sitting there. The hamper was for you to actually put your coats in. Next to the hamper, they even had a little nightstand. Oh, and let me tell you where they put the Christmas tree. The Christmas tree was right next to the big TV. In the corner, the Christmas tree was the desktop Christmas tree sitting on top of another safety box. So that was their idea of decorating for Christmas. Inside two of the random like nightstand drawers, I found like an ornament inside of it, and it would have a number on it. And it was so funny because my husband's father was there, and as soon as he came inside of the room, he sat down on the sofa and he's like, man. And we were like, what? He's like, I'm just trying to figure out how they stole $120 from me in less than a minute. He's like, I can't even get mad at them. He's like, they literally took my money. And so he's over there sitting on the sofa thinking this. Literally, this is like within 2 minutes of getting in the room. And then it was funny too because one of my husband's sisters went to the door and she literally opened it. And so then she closed it back and we were like, did you just open the escape room door? And then she was like, yeah, I didn't know it could open. And then I guess because they had cameras all around the room, he was like, yeah, because people didn't like the idea of being locked in, we never lock it anymore. It's an escape room. And so the funny thing is too, in the four corners of the room, like let me tell you, the most they spent on this room was the security room. At one point, their like security things, like you could see them moving. And then at one point you heard them say, oh, we're watching you. You only have 50 minutes left. And then it was funny because my husband's father was like, I bet you are watching me. He's like, well, how about this? Can I get a refund? Like he's over there, like he was just like, I'll just sit here till it's over. I don't even want to take any part in this because he was just heated. And I don't blame him. Literally, that room was so dirty too. I don't know how to explain it, but the room was filthy. The floor was filthy. It was just, for an escape room, it looked like they literally went to the Dollar Tree and bought their decorations. Someone gave them $5 to go to the Dollar Tree and get $5 worth of Christmas decorations to decorate that Christmas room. Now, if I had an escape room and I wanted it to be like Christmas themed, I would make sure every single time someone went in, they had milk and cookies sitting there, a big Christmas tree. I would want presents all around. Not one present was wrapped up in that room. I don't care if it was an empty present, it was not wrapped up. Like, what is Christmas without presents? It felt like I was in a room that the Grinch decorated. So I'm the type of person, regardless, I'm like, I don't care if you stole like all my money within 5 seconds of being there. I'm gonna get my money's worth. Like, I am going to try to beat this thing. But the bad thing about it is they would start you off with, you were supposed to open up for the first lock, like for the first case, you were supposed to start at like number 5. And once you unlock number 5, you were supposed to figure out the next one you're unlocking without even telling you. The next one you're unlocking is number 8. Then all of a sudden you would jump and be unlocking number 1. Like, it was never in a sequence where you could understand it, and they couldn't even explain it afterwards either. So it was just like, what the heck? It was bad to the point where we had some cases open where we shouldn't have had open yet because we didn't open the one that should have been open before it. And they were saying it randomly like, oh, why are you stuck? And I'm like, well, because we're working on 5 and we're trying to get 7 open. And they're like, well, you're supposed to be actually working on 13 right now, and that will open up 7 and 9. And we're like, what? How are you supposed to go from 5 to 13? Like, it was bad. And then the thing is, on top of it, they had 2 other closet rooms, and one of the rooms actually had like a picture on the top of the ceiling, and then they would have like a random crayon somewhere, but it was never Christmas themed. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, but it was the worst ever. Like, the three decorations you saw around were the little tiny Christmas tree, wrapping paper on the wall, the things hanging, oh, and a random ornament inside of a drawer. That does not sound like Christmas at all. Like, it was horrible. And to think that was $120. It got down to the end because of those locks. I want to say there was about 10 to 15 little locks inside the room, just regular key locks where, you know, you would lock up anything inside of your house. No decoration, not even like they were Christmas wrapped either. There was about 15 of those just sitting randomly around the room. And so it just got to the point where it was so confusing. Towards the end, we couldn't even figure it out. And so, of course, that was the hardest room because they just had no set type of sequence to how you were to get through it. I don't know how else to explain it, but it was the worst escape room I have ever seen. And I could even see if, oh, I wasn't able to escape, but at least if I'm walking into a Christmas themed room, let me at least feel a little Christmas, have some Christmas music even going. Like, it was nothing in that room. The most they spent in that room was the security equipment and that TV that was hanging there. And even the TV didn't even have like Christmas themed decorations on it. No, they just had a big old timer letting you know your time, and they might as well have just let you know how much you had spent, because that's just, it was horrible. And the worst part about it is they wanted you to stick your coats inside of a hamper. They didn't even have like a hanger to stick your coats on or anything. They wanted you to throw your coats, your purse, all your belongings inside of a hamper. Where do they do that at? Like, where? So needless to say, we did not escape out of the escape room in enough time. We ended up having like 3 more things to unlock, but we were pretty close considering how like disorganized it was, but we still didn't escape in time. So overall, that was our experience with escape room. I do remember them saying, oh, come again when when we were leaving, and we were like, yeah, we definitely won't be back. But other than that, it was just like a horrible experience. I personally would love to go to a good escape room, but I will never go back to Dover's escape room. That is the worst escape room ever. And I feel like the people who do write positive reviews are people who have never actually watched reality television to show you like a real and what a real escape room should look like. I need to go into an escape room business because I could have definitely made or done a better escape room than what they did. It was just horrible. If you live in the Delaware area, I definitely recommend not going to Dover's escape room. You will be wasting your time and definitely wasting your money. That's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. Let me know if you've gone to an escape room before. What was your experience like? What was the room theme? And did it actually work? Did it really look like it was supposed to be what the room theme was? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And of course, if you did, make sure to give it a like and also subscribe if you have not. And if you are subscribed, make sure to hit that bell so you guys can be notified when I do post another video. But thank you so much for watching, and of course I will see you in my next video. Bye!